Hello and welcome to a brand new, exciting, special episode of Video Ditch. Today, it's me, Sam, and Nick, as always. But today we are joined by the venerable developers from Daylight Basement Studio, LLC. Here to discuss one of their new projects. And joining us right now, we got Christopher.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks. That was an intro. I've never had an intro like that before.
Nice. He's been working on it. He's been training.
I can tell.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Delighted to be talking about a new game that you guys are developing.
Yes.
Rightfully Beary Arms. Yeah, you want to tell me about it, Nick?
Yeah, so from what I gathered, Rightfully Beary Arms is just like what I like to call a fun game. It's a game that I enjoy playing, and it doesn't make me miserable to play it. Instead of the slog, you get right into the action, you get to shoot things, you get a cute character. He's got very pronounced butt cheeks, which my fiance is a big fan of.
We love that. Yeah,
and,
that was an early design decision.
Yeah,
to get
there you go. Yeah,
get a bear with buns in there.
Integral.
It was very important.
Very good.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, how are we all doing today? How are you doing, Nick? How are you doing, Chris?
Doing all right. Weather got pretty warm out here. It's been too cold, and we finally got 60s today, I think. So I was able to go outside, enjoy it.
Wow.
So I'm actually feeling pretty good.
Good. Makes me take it for granted how fair the weather is on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I remember the brief time in Boston, it was like 30 degrees. I was like, Jesus Christ, these people
how do people
live
like this?
End of March is it's in New England is ridiculous. It could be like the hottest record-breaking temperature ever, or it could be like what you had where it's like snow cold and
just like the icicles forming as soon as I breathe.
Yeah, I had a buddy that was coming out from Minnesota, which was kind of funny, and he's like, what should I wear to PAX? And I'm like, well, it's probably not as cold as out as it is there. And he's like, it's like 70 here, Chris. And I'm like, oh my God. Like like it's below freezing here, so I don't know.
Damn. Well, I'm glad you got some warm weather. Did either of you catch the eclipse today? We're recording on the 8th of April, new month.
Yeah, sadly I did not. I would have stared directly at it if I had remembered to, so probably for the best.
I looked out the window and I was like, wow, it's really dark. I'm like, oh, it's around 3. It's probably the eclipse. So
very cool.
I caught it that way indirectly.
Yeah. It's too bad. I was hoping, maybe someone could try and reenact that classic scene from Berserk, pull out a Behelit or something. But no luck.
No luck. No Skull Knight.
I thought you were going to say the classic scene from one of our presidents, but 2017.
What happened to the eclipse on 2017?
Oh, you just looked directly into it, right?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Oh, really?
Wow, like, what a guy. From the White House, he's just like,
I think like moments before he had glasses on too, so
then
he took
takes
them
it off to see it clearer.
These things are in the way. What the hell?
Oh,
like this guy's doing it. Might as well. I should do it.
Well, aside from the eclipse, what else have we been watching? Any updates from you, Nick, before we get into the game?
Oh, like television?
Yeah, any media you've been consuming, anything like
Rewatching a little-known gem called Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Hey, I've been too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Book 2 now. Things are getting a little crazy. This lady named Azula showed up, and she's a handful.
I'd say for a kid show, Azula's a great villain.
Yeah.
Brought those stakes up
kill
so high. Yeah. Very cool.
Honestly, all the villains are so good in Avatar. They're just especially like you said for a kid show.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about General Zhao. That guy was a dickhead.
Yeah.
He's great. He's one of those great human protagonists. It's relatively low stakes. It's mostly interpersonal drama that you're working through with him. Yeah, but he does have the potential for horrible violence.
Yeah.
I was glad that he died.
Yeah. I guess on my end, I've been catching up on the Alien series. My fiance and I have been watching all of them, and I didn't realize how big of a dip in quality after the second that franchise goes into. Right? Like I always figured 3 and 4 were like, oh, they're fine. People don't really talk about them a lot, but I figure they're fine because they're Alien. And holy shit. it was shocking, you know.
Yeah,
It's
HR
kind of
Geiger.
like the Terminator effect, you know, like T1 and
Yeah.
T2, like oh solid, and then like with the third and onward, it just kind of falls off. But
It's even weirder when you hop over to uh AVP, Alien vs Predator,
we
and you're
started
like, but
those
what
as
is
well,
going on?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
too much,
It's,
The
a little much.
I know nothing at all about AVP. It seems to be complete nonsense, just contrived like video game
Yeah,
plot
I would
adaptation, pretty
say
much.
I'd say it actively harms both franchises
it
that it
really
Yeah.
does.
includes by explaining
Is
way too much.
is it
Yeah.
Alien versus Predator where the twist was like, oh, autistic people have a special link to the predator race and they can like talk to them psychically or something?
It doesn't sound familiar.
I
Okay, I know
don't think.
something crazy happened in like the most recent movie, and I was like, there's no way that was actually in
Okay,
a
see,
film.
I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't
Oh, well,
gotten there, so
sorry
we'll
for the
see.
Is that
spoiler.
maybe Prometheus is what you're thinking about?
Maybe,
Maybe.
yeah. Michael
Yeah.
Fassbender's yeah, robot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, I just wanted to, you know, do a quick little media check-in
Yeah, yeah.
as we start off. And I like to ask our other guests that we have on. Chris, what's your experience with gaming like right now? How's it been, you know, from the start? You know, we're gonna get into the stories of game dev, I'm sure, but if you'd
Mm.
like to
Yeah.
give us a truncated history or at least an at a glance, you know, your relationship with games.
Right now, I decided to start replaying Mass Effect,
Okay.
which has been a wonderful journey so far because I haven't gotten to Mass Effect 3 yet. So,
Okay, you
um,
said replay, so I assume you've
yeah,
made the journey before, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, Mass Effect 1 is by far my favorite, and I'm getting close to the end of it. And I plan on playing 2 and then seeing how much I remember about 3 and if I hated it as much as I do now as I did then. But um, yeah, I guess where it all started was back, I don't know. I feel like I got involved in like playing Counter-Strike with my cousin and Diablo 2
Okay,
and yeah, different things like that. So
that's
um,
decidedly PC
yeah, oh
gaming right
yeah,
there, yeah.
I was pretty hard on the PC side of things.
Okay,
So I kind of always had a family that tinkered and like especially my father and hardware and stuff like that. So we built our computers together and stuff like
Nice.
that. So yeah.
awesome.
A time on Gmod by any chance?
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
went pretty
very
hard into
nice.
Gmod.
That's where
I
the
tried
fun
to
is.
I tried to make my own like YouTube channel with Gmod videos, and
Oh,
one video
classic.
did all right.
Very
I
nice.
it's all lost. I don't know where it is.
Oh, damn.
I could probably find if I
I would
tried
love
really
to
hard.
pull it
I
up,
could.
yeah.
Yeah, well, those YouTube poops lots of time.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's I mean it's kind of making its rounds again, right? With Skibbity Toilet or whatever it's
Well,
called.
I mean, I wouldn't put it on the same level as the greats like Walrus Guy, but yes.
It's not, it's definitely not, but like there's a certain level of like my nephew, my youngest nephew was showing me Skibbity Toilet. And I was watching it.
Mhm.
I was like, this isn't the usual crap you show me.
Right.
It's like
Okay.
It's just so strange because yeah, it is just like Gmod
yeah. It's
after
all
like 20
Gmod based.
years.
It's like, how is this still relevant? How is it coming back?
It's
And
the DNA of shit posts never changes, you know.
it
It just
kind of
evolves
is.
over
Yeah.
time, you know. And it's just, you know, we can observe in the future and be
Did you say
bewildered, I suppose.
evolves or devolves over time? Because
That's a matter of
Interchangeable.
perspective, yeah.
They're synonyms essentially.
especially with shit
Yeah,
posting, right?
exactly.
Um, yeah, I don't know.
Me?
It's interesting how much Gmod's been around and still influencing media culture. Uh, Huge impact, right? Skibbity Toilet for some reason
Yeah.
with younger kids.
Yeah, I'm seeing pictures like Skibidi Toilet Birthday. It's like some kid with a toilet and the head's coming out of the cake. He's like, "Oh, my favorite! Yes, thank you, mom."
Yeah.
It's like, I guess I should be happy for him, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like why'd I get made fun of for a Goku cake and this kid's like being applauded?
The iPad generation will
Yeah.
educate us. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually.
It's
Okay.
different.
Yeah.
They're more into nerd culture and it's fine. Um,
Hmm,
but yeah, I guess
totally.
I get back to my gaming history, but yeah, I don't know. I went hard on the Half-Life series when I was younger.
Yeah.
And
Big OG Half-Life fan.
yeah, I just replayed it with a buddy of mine who hasn't played it. There's this like I forgot what it's called, but it's a mod that you can do co-op Half-Life.
Oh, Sven co-op.
Yeah, Sven
Yeah,
co-op.
It's
Sven co-op.
excellent.
There it is. Yeah.
Excellent time.
It's
Very
so
cool.
cursed though. It's
Is it? That's the only way I've experienced the original
Oh,
Half-Life is
really?
playing it through a
Okay.
co-op campaign of that. So
I just
um,
because it's like the way that I remember it, right? And I feel like I've felt the game was, there's a lot of tension, right? And it's like
yeah, that's
you
absent.
yeah, you're all alone, right? And then all
Mhm.
of a sudden you're playing it with someone else who just like is just running and gunning, and you hear them off in like 3 rooms down, just like murdering a bunch of scientists.
It's,
And I mean, it was fun. It was a good experience.
Oh,
yeah.
it's
Sorry,
great. Yeah,
my cat knocked my
multiplayer
water bottle
turns
over.
any
Oh, no
horror
worries, no
game
worries.
into a comedy. It's wonderful.
Yeah. But yeah,
Uh,
that's kind of like the games. A lot of the games I started with, at least. So
yeah. Do you remember? Is there any game in particular that you played either when you were younger or when that could kind of initial spark for like I think I want to make one of these kind of like hit you? Do you remember playing that game, or is
yeah,
there a specific game that kind of did that for you?
I mean, it's funny you bring it up, but like Gmod was like obviously this like sandbox gaming
Hmm.
environment, right?
Hmm.
And I don't know if that was the game, but it was like a realization that like at some point it was just like my 10th time creating a map where like there was like
Yeah,
enemies spawned in it, and like I was like, oh, this is like me designing a game level. Like
Yeah,
totally. It
that's
gives you
what,
those
yeah,
it
tools.
is.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And there was a realization that I was like, oh,
you could do this.
I
Yeah,
could
I
probably,
like
yeah,
that.
go
Yeah.
go further with it. But I feel like I always wanted to do it even before then, though. But I'm trying to
Hmm.
think of like which actual game caused that or sparked that. Um, I, this is
What's the
Tilly.
cat's name? Tilly.
Tilly, yeah.
Love it.
She hears me talking and then she
Needs
invites
to.
herself.
Yeah.
Desperate
Yeah,
for attention. Yeah, mine
yeah.
are usually the same, but I think they're being managed right now. Yeah, they might make a guest appearance.
Yeah.
We'll see.
What about you,
Um,
Nick? Any questions from you right now?
Right now, no, that's
Hmm.
pretty much it. I mean,
As
yeah,
we talk about, just
the
personal
history of
histories.
gaming, what led to this. I mean, the taking the leap to become an independent developer, I think is something that I think is really outstanding. I think that independent developers and independent games are really where, the fun stuff is,
Yeah.
the
Good
exciting stuff,
segue. Yeah.
the stuff that
yeah,
people want to make. So that was really the main reason why I wanted to talk to you or the whole team, was because I just think that the whole concept is being able to make something, put it out, and like having it on the PAX floor, having
yeah,
something for people to actually play and like interact with the people who make it is really something amazing.
yeah. I think it's been like probably one of my favorite parts of the journey is having other people experience like the art and the medium and of like that experience that you create. Um, it definitely oscillates around like what I enjoy from game dev, but PAX being the most recent memory, it's like that's it. It's like watching people come in and play the game and then give feedback on it. And like it's kind of cool because like younger kids will come in and they'll play the game, and then they'll just have like all these ideas of like, oh, you should have this interact with this, and then a
Yeah.
mini game
Yeah.
should be unlocked. And it's like, oh, that's how I was when I was their age. And
Right.
I
We-
feel like I can
Before we all
understand
got
that feeling.
jaded.
I
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
right? Just take me back there. That's where I want to
Give me
go.
that. Give me some of that wonder, kid. I
Yeah.
could use
Yeah.
some of that. Yeah.
Why are the arcade machines playable in the game? Well, you have to. It's the whole thing.
It's a
Why can't I see
Very
my
cool.
reflection?
yeah, it's actually a lot harder than you actually think right now.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as an indie dev, how do you feel about the state of AAA right now? Like with the
Yeah.
industry as it is, with games being so expensive, such crazy productions, like
Yeah.
um
It it's interesting because like I feel like there was a recent like, you know, injection of like yeah, they're like these independent studios, but they have a shit ton of money, right?
yeah, they're like the
Um
big publishers. Yeah.
yeah, and like they're doing great. They're like I think pushing, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is like the more recent
Mm.
example of
Hmm.
just like, you know, hey, single player games or like maybe not necessarily single player, but just like a story driven game is like
Yeah.
still fun, right? Like people
Hmm.
still like that, and it's not this like microtransaction hell that like I
Yes.
feel like most AAA titles have kind of honed in on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there's another game I can't like Dave the Diver, and again, like they're backed by pretty like they're
Mhm.
like larger money, but still it's a nice like
It's the spirit of independent
yeah,
gaming that's kind of,
yeah,
yeah, good to
I
see
like that.
proliferate. Yeah.
But like true AAA, I feel like it's just been safe and like that's kind of
Hmm.
what they go for.
Yes,
Yeah. I
very
was,
very sterile, a
yeah.
little
Yeah,
soulless.
Hmm.
yeah.
I was thinking about that today while I was kind of trying to think of questions, just the way that, yeah, because AAA games have to have so much appeal to the broadest audience. There's
Exactly.
so like there's no opportunity for them to really do something like super creative or anything that really pushes back, because
Yeah,
it would turn people away, and that's like the opposite of what their design philosophy is.
yeah. I
Um,
think like even just replaying Mass Effect, right? Like just all the nuances. And I don't know if you've experienced the game, but
mhm.
in the beginning, it's like they talk about things like the genophage with
Oh, with the
there's like literally
Krogans,
Mm.
yeah, the
yeah.
Krogans literally they can't like reproduce and
Hmm.
I don't know, there's like that nuance in the first one, but in the third one it's just it feels like it's boobs. Like that's
Super
like what they go for.
Yes.
condescending
Yeah,
writing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's something we
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
about quite a bit on here, but that's a
Yes.
really good
Power
example of a
Yeah.
fantasy.
crazy, like, and that's not
Yeah.
even a long-term thing. That's within the span of a few years.
Yeah. And it's
So I
just
think
like they
that's,
don't take that risk anymore of
yeah,
just
it's
like,
one of the
yeah,
woes of being the popular thing is, yeah,
yeah,
having to
yeah.
play it safe. With that being said, as an indie developer, what do you feel are some of your greatest boons as being such a small studio? It's literally like you and your partner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like we can express whatever we want to express, right? With no
Hmm.
one telling us that's a bad idea, which is also sometimes a bad idea. Um, but I think, yeah, a lot of RBA in itself was kind of like a tribute to our childhoods and trying to kind of touch back what made us kind of fall in loving gaming to begin with.
Mm.
Some of that is
Nice.
gameplay, some of that is the art, and some of that's like literally the story. It's a kid that's like imagining their teddy bear,
Okay.
kind of playing different adventures and things like that. The teddy bear itself is like media. It's merch from a game. And
Oh,
so
Yeah.
okay.
like a game in that kid's life, it's a little Toy Story meta, but the idea behind that is like when I was a kid, I like it would obsess about like a game or something like that, and then I would kind of like imagine or daydream or even just dream about it in other contexts. And so
Hmm.
that's kind of like the story and the context behind RBA. So
I
Oh,
was
very
thinking about
cool.
that when I was playing it because it was saying like, oh, like one of the guns I unlocked was like just like a finger gun that snaps. Obviously.
yeah,
Well, you made the damn game, but uh,
yeah.
or like the little pixelated gun, like very simple, 3 blocks, and then it's
Yeah.
like a hyper realistic Mosin Nagant.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like, okay, I can see this. Like the kids, like, oh yeah, like Atari or something, or NES, and then like, yeah, finger gun, something you see and just playing pretend, and then most in a gun. I mean, because it makes sense at this
That's
point. Kids are
awesome.
just playing COD, so they would
Yeah,
just see like
yeah.
exactly.
they know what an AK is, they know
Yeah.
what like
Oh, an
sometimes,
M1 Garand.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah. I love
Exa-
this gun. Yeah.
yeah. Kids play Metal Gear Solid 3, and they're like, oh wow, look at that, he's got a revolver, how cool.
Yeah.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I
That's
like that
funny.
you picked up on that. So,
Yeah, just
um,
the mismatch of all the different ideas was very fitting for a child's imagination. The
yeah.
combination of the surreal or the like or playing pretend with hyper realistic, but they don't really see the like issue with having it's something
No.
so violent. It's
Yeah.
just it's all toys
It's
to
just a
them.
toy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Um,
media is, right?
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. With rightfully Beary Arms, you want to give us a little more, like, when was the start of this project? Because I was browsing your YouTube channel earlier today and saw that there's it's been around for a number of years, not like a long time, but
Yeah.
at least two, it seems, documented online.
Yeah. We
Um,
started about like 4.5 years ago.
okay, right on.
Mike and I both like work full time
I was
on
gonna
other
say, is this
stuff.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
This is like a part-time thing for
okay,
us. So I say part-time, but like within the last 2 years, it feels like a second full-time job.
I could
Um,
imagine, yeah.
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 But yeah, it started out as like more of like I would say like Binding of Isaac clone,
Hmm.
um,
I can
which
understand
is
that,
like a
yeah.
game that I really like.
Hmm.
And then it kind of turned more Nuclear Throne, and then like I guess a comparison we get a lot is like Enter the Gungeon, which is like a game
Mhm.
that yeah I have played, but I've probably like Nuclear Throne. I played a lot more Nuclear Throne.
Yeah,
That was
My life. So
it's
yeah,
the one that everyone recognizes from like the dungeon crawling kind of
exactly.
gun
Yeah.
genre. Yeah, these days.
So that's kind of got more inspiration from Nuclear Throne there.
Very cool.
Then we decided to throw some Dead Cells in, and during the development, Hades came out, and it was like we were
Okay.
working on this idea of like you weren't able to see it, Nick, at um, PAX, but we have this like dungeon crawl screen in the current release that we've revamped in the upcoming update, which is what you saw at PAX. But basically, we wanted to give like players a choice of like where to go in dungeons, and it was like Hades came out, and they had the door system where you could choose your reward in the next room,
Right.
and that was like confirmation. I was like, oh, this is great. Like
This is a
people
good
like this.
idea.
People
Yeah, we
love
This is
should
yeah,
do
this.
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Very
we
cool.
kind of reworked it to make it a little bit more mainstream, but and understandable for some players. But yeah, that's coming out in the next update.
Oh yeah, I mean, as it is now, I'm just kicking down every door. I cannot stand the thought of not exploring every like crevice in a map. It makes me sick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm a
So
I'm a I'm a just get to the end kind of guy, but I feel that though.
Right on. And I also watched some of the behind the scenes today of your composer.
Oh
Kind of,
yeah,
he's a multi-instrumentalist, which very cool to see.
yeah,
And it definitely kind of had like this kind of jaunty vibe to it, kind of folksy influence,
yeah.
and I appreciated it. It definitely gives the game an identity and a vibe of its own. When did he join the project?
He joined. We met him at PAX actually.
Incredible. Oh, crazy. Just a
Two
meeting of minds.
Yeah, no, 2 years ago, our first PAX. He
Right
showed up
on.
and he was like, "Hey, this is pretty cool. I also make music," and we decided to check him out. And honestly, like on his page, he just had incredible music, but like none of it was like at all kind of what we thought the game would be.
Mhm.
But you could just tell in all of his songs that he knew what he was doing. And I think originally he wrote for D&D characters. So like if you had
Oh,
a D&D character and you wanted some like minute theme or something like that,
yeah.
you could hit him up on like Fiverr or something like that, and he would compose something for you. So he had
Very
like
cool.
a pretty vast selection to show
Yeah.
off, and it was like this guy can probably do whatever we want him to do. Yeah, so we decided to chat
What's
with
his
him.
name? I didn't
Garrett
catch the idea.
Rose.
Okay, there we
Garrett
go.
Rose.
There
I'm
you
bad
go.
at dropping that, so yeah, appreciate that.
Hmm.
But yeah, he joined the project and like just ran with it like so
Nice.
fast. And so he uses a lot of these like child elements into he uses like kazoos. We like to make fun of him for
Yeah.
that. So we
Fun stuff.
we have him like the kazoo composer or something like that on our Discord. But he
Nice.
has like chimes and things like that. But then he also kind of has this like Darren Korb element to his songs where I think he gives it more of a serious sort of like rock, new metal sort of sound to it too.
Yes.
So
As the track went on, the drums got heavier, which
yeah,
I was
yeah,
into. I was like,
yeah,
oh hey,
yeah,
I didn't know if it was gonna pick up like this, but it did. So very cool.
I
going
think
from
he's
They
very
Might Be Giants to Numb.
exactly.
Yes,
You
very
got
apt.
it.
Um,
Yeah,
Very
I think
cool.
he complements sort of like the idea of what we're trying to go for with his like mixed emotions with RBM where RBA where we kind of we'll have like funny moments like finger guns or like the pick shooter or something like
Mhm.
that. But then we're also kind of have a serious undertone of like, this is a kid that's kind of imagining different things and fighting off different anxieties
Yeah.
and things like
Oh,
that. So yeah,
very
he's
cool.
complemented that really well.
Nice. You mentioned your Discord. Do
Oh yeah.
you do you feel like like you do a lot of community outreach or kind of feedback through Discord, or how much has that helped you or hindered you in any way throughout these
Uh,
years?
EA has been all about community feedback, like our early access launch. We
Hmm.
went into early access like not not doing it as like a marketing test or anything like that. We
Okay.
like really use EA as a beta and like to hone in the game, and we felt like we had really good bones with RBA releasing to EA, but like we weren't sure if like some of the stuff synergized really well, and we don't have a
Yeah.
huge budget to like have a bunch of testers come in and play it. So we went to EA, and yeah, people will hit up our Discord and give us all ideas, and like we try to do as much as we can. We don't want players in EA to feel like testers, right? Like
Right.
essentially that's kind of like the agreement. Like we're saying, hey, like help us out. But in the same time, what we'll give back to you is like any ideas you shoot out, we'll try to integrate them.
Yeah.
If we can't do it exactly, we'll like massage it in a way that we think will work with the game. And then we also love throwing tributes in. So yeah, some of the more active members in our community will name a
That's
gun
fun.
after them
Yeah.
or
Hmm.
put a
That's
little secret
awesome.
in for them. So
Do
yeah.
cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you kind of
So
answered my next question. I was going to ask why early access when you have other options, but
yeah,
very apt
I,
put.
I feel like it should be like, it's a two-way street, right? You're putting money into us and trust into us that we're actually going to complete this game, and we're kind of like a
Hmm.
no-name studio. So we want to try to give you something back as we
Yeah.
develop along the way.
I think that is kind of the nice thing about this is the fact that you guys are an independent studio, and just the fact to actually have that active communication between the player and the developer is something that
Exactly.
I think is overlooked by the general gaming public. The ability to actually
Hmm.
help shape a game into
Yeah,
something that is actually ideal, something that both the developers and the players want. Coming to that conclusion together is something that's really really great. Something that I think is really uh amazing. I feel like I'm just mostly complimenting, but
I know. I
this is
mean, having a direct line between
so,
the player and the dev is I think excellent for both parties.
yeah.
And then yeah, it's also like gamers are not used to their voice actually being heard. They're usually just screaming into a void.
yes,
But
exactly.
yeah, given the opportunity, I think it's
No,
very cool that you
we
guys are
really
doing that.
try. Mike and I actually, I mean, like our full-time jobs are software engineers, and we make software for and have made software for different industries and stuff like that. And so like a huge part of like the engineering process is to like give it to a software to a doctor and get feedback and then like
Mhm.
iterate it and then like make it better and give it to some customer, get feedback, iterate it. So it's just like such a natural part of our cycle that like of course we're going to do that when we make a
Yeah,
game.
that's
And
great.
so like it doesn't I don't know how I would do it any other way, honestly.
Hmm.
So
It's
Right.
utilizing the skills and tools that you have and know. I think it's
Yeah.
smart. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Just a bit more passion, I'd imagine, with the game development
Oh yeah.
side, the
Yeah.
the back and forth with software development.
Yeah.
A little
Oh
more
yeah.
fun.
It's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
A ton more fun.
Nice. All right, Nick, do you have any other questions, or should we take some of the community's questions and present
Uh,
them to Chris right
yeah,
now?
I actually do have a question regarding the game balance. When I first played the game, I got
That's
through
a
the
good, yeah.
robot segment so quickly. I was like, there's
Yeah.
no way it's this easy. And then I immediately got my ass beat in the insect zone. And I was like, well, okay, that can't be right. And it's been 2 days, and I still have not gotten to the Galaxy Master, the insect zone. I'm not saying to
Okay.
make it easier
Yeah, yeah,
at all. Please don't.
yeah, yeah,
But I am glad to see that despite, the whole the idea of the game, playing as the
yeah. Yep.
teddy bear and everything, it still is a difficult game. I
Yeah.
just do enjoy a game that actually is challenging and makes you not just blast endlessly and win forever.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
do you decide on that? How do you find that sweet spot? Has it been a
We
process, or
oh,
was
it's
it
been
something you
a
kind of just like nailed quickly? I don't
it's
assume, but
no, it's been a process. It's
yeah.
been yeah, when we first released into EA, where that was like the number one feedback was like punishing.
Like too
Uh
hard? It's too
yeah,
hard?
it was
Oh, I
too
see.
hard. And so like I think a lot of like what I've learned in game design in the past couple of months is just like what elements make the game challenging but not punishing in a way, right?
Hmm.
Like a player when they feel defeated or they get killed should like when they reflect back be like, I could have won that if I did this better, right? But
Yes.
if they die and they are like they think back and they're just like there was nothing I could have done, that leaves them frustrated. And
Mhm.
so like just trying to like tone those elements down. So like things like the big thing was like bullet speed. When EA was released was like enemy bullet speeds like too fast. And so it was something I was used to and like during playtesting of whatever. But then like once we got into like other players' hands, they were just like dying left and right. And like
We're not
it just
trained
felt
like you, man.
yeah. And then the other aspect of like balancing the difficult game is at least in a roguelite, we put that progression element into it.
Mhm.
So in the current release, there's like that proofs tree where you can kind of choose your path of like which upgrades you get. In the update that's coming up, we kind of reworked it to be a bit more. The player has a little bit more foresight into what they want to get for
Mm.
upgrades, so you can
Okay.
see different levels. You can see ahead how much it's going to cost and
Okay.
kind of plan your route accordingly.
More like the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X kind of thing.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
Have the information present for the player. I get it. Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
Trying to make something relatable for the viewers.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It's like Kimari's sphere grid.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So in the next update, Barry will be a blue mage. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. You heard it here.
Yeah, because I did notice that the proofs tree as it is more kind of like an expanding web. Is that just like a procedurally generated thing? Because I noticed the one in the tutorial was
Yeah.
completely different from the main game.
Yeah, so what you experience at PAX, it will be it's basically curated a little bit more.
Mhm.
The one that's in the current update is it's random, and the idea behind that was like each time you started a new game, you would have a different progression style, and I think that was a bit too confusing, especially like onboarding new players. And I think it went against actually some of our design philosophy of like we really like the idea of planning and like strategy, and the it kind of took the planning out of it. So that's something that we decided to rework for
Mhm.
the next update.
I think that'll be good to check out. I'll be
Yeah,
definitely looking at it. I won't even mind having my save data delete or anything.
yeah. Um, Actually, I had a question for you all.
Oh, by
I
all
was checking
means.
out some of your podcasts today as well,
Oh,
and
Jesus.
who
Hey,
does
we're
the
doing our best
thumbnails?
work right now,
Who
actually.
does the thumb? I draw all the thumbnails.
I love it. It's so
Hey.
Thank God.
it reminds me like so much of like late 90s, early 2000 Newgrounds. Like
That's
I
Wow,
would
that's
exactly
an incredible compliment
that's
for us.
exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
like I would get lost in someone's profile that made videos with these thumbnails. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Yeah. That's I when I was drawing, I was like, if I go for this style, then I can just say that I'm Newgrounds inspired instead
Yeah,
of
Newgrounds
admitting
coded.
that I can't draw.
no, I
Oh,
think you could draw. It's
No,
a hard
thanks.
vibe to catch, so it's
Yeah,
good.
it helps if you're innately untalented. It just kind of comes to you naturally.
yeah,
Uh,
Now,
definitely.
don't
Yeah.
worry, this one is going to be a real doozy.
Hmm.
I'm super excited,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh.
Oh, well, now you got me all red in the face.
Yeah, Nick does the images, the thumbnails. I did the music for the intro and the outro.
Oh
So
hell yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
we like to DIY over here.
Yes,
It's an
as
absolute
little.
bop.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. um, yeah. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Unexpected compliments from the guest. We
of
never get
course.
that.
It's true. They usually hate us. They say, stop
Well,
talking.
hold on. We haven't gotten. Yeah, just
Oh.
wait.
Hey, let's wait till we get to the hard questions. And this guy's like, I
Yeah,
can't, don't ever go on fucking video. These guys
yeah.
do not go on their show.
Uh,
Well, kind of circling back to the game, and we have some questions from our community. Goon asks, with the fashion update set to release soon, and we kind of touched upon this, what future plans do you have in store? Will there be a hardcore mode? And were there any features or elements you wanted to implement but had to tweak or drop due to not working as you wanted?
yeah, I think the dungeon crawl screen, like what we had was that didn't work, right? So, when you beat a level, and you probably experienced if you played recently, but you'd get this like navigation screen where it had these like nodes on the screen of like different dungeons you can crawl with resources on the side and stuff like that. And what we found is it was like too much of a change in pace for players that wasn't I would say like reinforcing in a good way. They would kind of stop and be like a little confused and not exactly know like what to do next and a little bit overwhelmed from the screen. So what we did was in the next update, we replaced it with basically just like 3 choices where you hit the dungeon exit and it's like, what do you want your reward to be for the next dungeon? And then there's like a guaranteed reward, and then there's up to 2 to 3 like possible rewards that are they're like random, so you can kind of choose your planning that way. And that's essentially what we're trying to go with the nav screen. I think if we had like more time and money, we probably would spend more time, and like I would like to spend more time in like testing out like the nav screen that we originally had, because I like that planning strategic element to it. But I think this still the new next update still captures like the essence and the spirit of like what we're going for with players being able to kind of choose their rewards and things like that.
That actually was something I did like in the current game, especially the fact you could go into the stores that randomly pop up, being able to buy more radar honey and actually stay in, get more upgrades before going to the big boss, and then dying and being irritated that you decide to go for an extra stage and never actually got to see the boss. But having that choice is what I like.
I liked it too. I think a lot of, and there's definitely a bucket of players that appreciate that too, but I think the vast majority of new players that would try RBA, I think, would kind of get lost in there. And
I would tell those new players, get the shotgun immediately and just don't use anything else.
Yeah.
You will win.
And
that's the reason I haven't beaten it, is because I don't want to use it. It makes it too easy. It's not that I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
Make a conscious choice.
And dash a lot. We nerfed dashing in the next update. So you have that to look forward. But you can upgrade it back to about where it is right now. So
like the
baseline. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I forgot some of the other questions, so I'm sorry.
He asked if there would be a hardcore mode.
Oh yeah,
which I'm not sure what that entails. What would you add? Like, what would a hardcore mode be for
permadeath? I assume.
Beary Arms,
Yeah. So I can say for sure that like during EA, we're not going to touch on hardcore mode or like new game plus. But for the 1.0 release, we have plans for like a new game plus, which could include a hardcode mode. I'm not entirely sure what that would look like in a roguelite, but yeah, I guess maybe just like complete death. That's it. It changes it into a roguelike, I guess.
Uploads a virus when you die.
Deletes all the files on your computer.
Deletes System
32.
Logs you off. But yeah, I definitely have a new game plus, which some of the ideas there is you can basically make the game as hard as you want, which maybe one of them is permadeath, which now actually gave me an idea. So thank you, Goon.
Very nice.
Good job, Goon. Yeah.
Also love your name, Goon.
To be fair, he thought of that long ago, before this whole nasty business started with the jokes.
Okay.
And his other question, were there any features or elements you wanted to implement but had to tweak or drop due to not working as you intended? And we kind of spoke about the dungeon select screen there. Were there any other like gameplay features or like guns perhaps that you wanted to add in? Like, I can't really think of a way for this to work, or it would have broken the balance. Or
most of the time I feel like we find a way, right? Like the balance of stuff, especially in roguelike, is kind of interesting. Like we'll find a gun that's like super fun, but it's like super overpowered, but it's like, let's just make it harder to activate or get, like, I don't know. And it's like once you get it and once you strategize that you get it, then it's like, hey, good on you, have fun, go kill shit. And so like that's kind of like been at least our philosophy with some of the designs of stuff. So I think other than that, like that's been about it. We haven't really had to drop anything.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think that's the ideal way to go about it. Power weapons should be a reward for doing something crazy or doing something insanely difficult. You should be able. You have the rights to kill at will with zero effort after putting in an insane amount of effort.
Yeah,
I think that's the right way to go.
I want to like, and this will probably happen during EA, for sure for 1.0, but I want to experiment a lot more with like the runtime system and the calamity system. So, um, like the calamities are like when you beat a boss, you choose basically how the world and enemies get more difficult. And runtimes are like resources that you can collect in the dungeons that are kind of the opposite. They like affect the world in a positive way for you and
Mm,
Barry.
okay.
And one of those levers that maybe runtimes can do is like make it easier to drop weapons or like, I don't know, shops are cheaper or something like that, or they occur more often, or this resource occurs more often. And I kind of want to like take the lever on that and like jam it forward and see
Yes.
how much more you
Yeah,
can
greater
do with
boons
it.
for the player. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and like if you strategize the right thing and you get the right combo of stuff, like yeah, you win.
Oh
Good
yeah.
on you.
If there's one thing roguelite players love is min-maxing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
exactly what I want.
Um, Kind of going back to distribution with the game. I also noticed that ID at Xbox kind of featured a trailer for your game, which I thought was
Yeah.
cool. Are you guys doing any other consoles other than Xbox, or so far is it just
Just
with
just
them?
just Xbox. We're looking into other stuff, but nothing official.
Okay.
We're not like against any other platforms, so
Yeah.
there's like no no's out there, I guess. We
Okay.
did get asked one time if we were coming to the Wii U. I can now officially say we are not coming to the Wii
Damn.
U. So
Wow. What about the
I,
Vita?
if honestly, if we could, I think I would try. Um,
Oh,
but yeah,
I'll break out my
uh,
Also,
PSTV.
yeah,
there
dude,
you go. Yeah.
Vita was
Right on.
such a head of its time.
It
But
was depressing. I remember telling
yeah,
everyone this will change the future of
Of
handhelds, and
handheld, yeah.
then
and yeah,
it simply did not.
it didn't. It's
Yeah.
just the world wasn't ready for it.
That's
Wow.
true.
I'm speaking with two of the five Vita owners on the planet right now.
That's
Crazy.
right.
Crazy.
Give Soul Sacrifice a chance, man.
Gravity Rush in its original form.
It was good. It had three great games on there.
It
Nice.
could have had more.
It could have, if only.
A couple more from Goon. He says, since developer Chris is on the pod, he asks to get your ranking of Paper Mario games.
Oh, I don't know if I've actually played all the Paper Mario games. I gotta bring it up
All
here.
two of them?
Is it just two? I don't know.
I was gonna say
Well, there's
Nick's
64,
got views, yeah.
Thor, and then I don't know. I blacked out after that. I don't think anything happened.
Is it the origami key I'm looking at?
Oh yeah, that one came out for the Switch, I think, right?
Okay. Well, unfortunately, as you can tell, I'm not a too avid Paper Mario player.
That's
I think I
okay.
played the 64 version, but honestly, I don't really remember that much.
No worries.
Oh,
That's
hold
fine.
on. I'm looking at their wiki. They've got a lot. They got Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door,
Mm.
Super Paper Mario, Sticker Star,
A classic.
Superstar.
the classic Color Splash.
Oh, I can see why you leave so many off the list now.
Yeah, I'm more of an
Yeah.
RPG guy.
Yeah, we could move on from Paper Mario and
Oh, hold on,
Goons.
but they
Oh,
are in 2024 re-releasing
that's
the
right.
thousand
Yes,
year door.
finally going back to the RPGs. The thing that people have been asking for roughly 2 decades.
That's the thing we want to talk about. That's another thing AAA studios are doing. They're just re-releasing shit.
Mhm.
Yes, remakes and
Yeah,
remasters
what are your thoughts
forever.
on the trends of remakes and endless sequels? I was thinking about that gag and was it Back to the Future 2 when it's like Jaws 15 or whatever?
Yeah,
I'm like, we're
yeah,
kind of in that
yeah.
now,
We
We
are.
are in
yeah.
there.
Unironically. It's
That's
interesting.
it. Kind of sucks, I think.
I no, I'm
Yeah.
with you. It's difficult not to be cynical about it.
It's weird because what movie? What was it? Top Gun. Top Gun
Oh,
was
the
like,
one?
yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, at least from my point of view. But like, I appreciated that they just didn't remake it. But it felt like it followed a similar storyline. But I felt
Mhm.
like it was like enough
That's
for me
funny.
to say, hey, good job. You
Yeah.
guys didn't just
Yeah.
completely do a remake.
They wheeled out Val Kilmer for his 1 month, and then they put him back in the freezer.
We'll get back in
Yeah,
there.
get in there, Iceman. God damn.
So if you do
Yeah.
something like that, at least I don't know, I'll at least appreciate it. I might not like it, but
You could
can-
endure it, yeah.
I can respect it.
Mhm.
Try and do something new with the toys instead of setting up the same diorama over and over
Exactly.
forever.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay. And let's see. Goon's last question is ever considered doing a merch line that are pogs for all our millennial viewers and listeners out there? Pogs.
I'm now considering it now. What it's a pog?
What's a pog?
It's
You
like
know-
a disc with a character art. On it.
Yeah, real
That's it.
small, flat.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe we'll throw it up on the screen right
Um,
now.
They were featured
Yeah.
in the hit game Y2K, a postmodern RPG. If you've had the chance to check that one out,
No.
that's a
Yeah,
classic.
yeah. Obligatory Y2K reference
Mhm.
every episode. And we'll just keep going with the questions down the line from our community. Hugh Man, producer Hugh Janus, is his last name. What's the hardest part of game dev? He asks.
I think the hardest part is kind of handling the lows, right? Like I was talking about it oscillating before, and the lows are pretty rough where you're just like developing a feature, you don't know it's gonna work with the game, you don't know if people are gonna enjoy, and you're just like, why am I doing this? And like
I feel like
trying
the emotional toll could
Mhm.
probably be immense,
Yeah.
especially when it's just you and like another
Yeah.
individual, just
Yeah.
diffusing all the the energy from the consumer.
And
I believe that.
that can be hard. So you gotta like make sure you find time to kind of focus on your mental health
Well,
and
just know that there are people who really appreciate
Yes.
the work you're doing and admire what you're doing. I think
And
it's
their
important.
names are us.
Are us.
Sorry. Sam and Nick.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the mental game can be really hard.
Yeah, well, understandable.
Yeah.
He also asks if developing games was a sport, who would be the champion?
Oh,
We could do this
geez.
like of all time, or do you want to do like right now? It's up to you.
Kind of like a Jordan versus LeBron thing.
Yeah. Like who's the
Right.
Michael Jordan of game dev, and then who's the hot star right now? We could even narrow it down to indie game dev if we'd like.
I
Yeah.
think they burned really bright, but the studio behind Disco Elysium.
Ooh,
Yeah.
wow.
Wow.
Incredible. You couldn't have made a better
Yeah.
reference to anything. Oh,
Yeah.
that tickles me so.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that story with
which-
them is just
Drop the
Yes.
greatest RPG of all time and then fade away into the night.
And then goodbye. And that was just like some of the greatest storytelling and narrative, and like even the game itself was just like meta about games, and
Mhm.
I don't know. It was
about
just like
the
really good.
RPG genre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like rolling
Wonderful.
a success when you throw off the bocce ball or whatever was
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
Because it
Oh my
because-
God.
because
It
it's
pisses
like
them off.
yeah, you roll a success, but it was like, no, that was not good.
That was not the right
you
decision.
Getting, you getting a success here was not a good thing. Which
Very
is like
good.
I thought hilarious. I was like, that's so funny.
I love that game.
It's
Um,
amazing.
Say enough good things about it. Yeah.
Man, all time. I don't know.
So the thought cabinet will be present in the next update.
Yeah. Oh,
I
man.
thought about trying to make some type of tribute to those devs somehow.
Hey, listen, if you
They could do like
the-
one of their guns,
armor or
Yeah, I was thinking
like
the
a
gun.
single shot
Yeah.
firearm of some sort, or
Give
Oh, yeah.
Barry the Kim glasses or something.
yeah, the jacket.
yeah, or the jacket, the orange bomber.
jacket.
Perfect. Was it the paper loaded revolver?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We shoot Kuno S with it. The game over. It's like I got a success. I shot the kid. Oh. Well,
Who no,
Oh,
get
right,
that.
that's bad.
That's bad policing,
That's
I guess.
bad. That's bad.
Yeah. Oh,
I
man.
like that. If you hit a shot, it says success or something.
Mhm.
You miss, it says failure.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
Critical failure.
Oh.
That's funny.
Wonderful. And also that studio, I mean, just like another cautionary tale of getting involved with bigger corporations as an
Yes.
indie developer.
A worst case
Holy
scenario.
shit. Yeah, it's just like the worst thing that could happen to him. Happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny and comical about the art that they made and the commentary they made. And then it's just
Shakespearean.
like, yeah,
Yes.
Just
there it goes.
completely disregarded. Only dollar signs matter.
Hmm.
I just imagine, some rich dudes just being like, yeah, this is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
What was this about?
I wonder what this is about. How about you get the fuck out of here?
Yeah. Wow, these ultra liberal characters, they're so annoying. One of them.
Awesome.
My mom's name is Joyce.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
excellent.
Another shout out to I play a lot of Hunt Showdown. Have you heard of that game?
Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I've
I-
logged in some hours, but my PC is
Okay.
really not very good enough to run it well, so it's prevented me from hopping in more than I'd like.
For a competitive extraction shooter, that I think that game's super well designed.
Kind of like Siege.
Do you play
Yeah.
solo or do you play with a group normally?
I usually play with a group.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll play solo though, and
I could never do so. That's too much stress.
it's a lot of stress, but it's
Yeah.
so much fun if you
There's-
just like clear a server or something.
There's nothing like
insane.
playing solo TF2 in its heyday. It's a long gone art form, but that was the best. Getting Crockett's as a solo soldier and hearing someone call you the worst fucking name ever. It's bliss.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
derogatory name or something like that. You're like, where did you
Yeah.
learn that?
Mhm.
Yeah, like some 30-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't know
Very
about
good.
all time though, but I feel like they all kind of just live long enough to see them become villains, you know?
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Going back to the game, because Goon's question kind of made me think about a feature that I'm curious if you guys would add. It's single player only right now, yeah?
Yeah.
Would you ever add co-op? Is that something you think about, or
Yeah.
would it be like too
That's
much?
probably the number one requested feature right after cosmetics, which
Okay.
cosmetics
And
are
they're
dropping
getting.
soon. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're getting
very
that.
nice.
The co-op is unfortunate because we didn't technically design it for that, and when we went back to look at it, it's probably too tough for us to add it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly, if the game does well on like full launch, it's something that's going to be highly considered. But if the game does like mediocre to poor, then we'll probably just skip it, honestly. But it is something that we are looking at considering. One other option isn't necessarily the main game gets co-op. Maybe we do something else, like another type
Like a
of game
separate mode. Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
which actually would, believe it or not, be a lot easier to do it in as a co-op. But that's definitely a hard lesson we learned for a next game. We're gonna probably be more mindful about that going forward.
Cool. I could
Yeah.
imagine though, like, yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
the logistics of adding another player, you
Yeah.
just mess around with so much. Okay. Anything else from you right now, Nick? I'm combing through the rest of our community questions, and I
From
don't
me?
think any more are really related to
I think
the
the most of
game.
our community questions were really funny more than anything. So we can save those for later.
Yeah.
I want to
No.
hear it.
Oh, we'll get to them.
We'll
Okay.
get to them. Yeah, certainly.
I guess for remaining questions, mostly I guess
Mhm.
going from the game to PAX itself. What was your experience? You've been going to PAX for a couple of years now, right?
Yeah.
So your general experience there, would you say it's the greatest time of your life, or other?
It's up there. I don't Of conventions, it's definitely it's actually not my favorite, believe it or not.
Really?
But and but it's kind of like our home one, which is actually kind of cool to say because it's like one of the biggest gaming conferences in
Yeah.
like North America, like the Western Hemisphere.
Mm.
But so it's like always cool going back because I guess this is like our third year going back, and we'll get people coming back, be like, "Hey, I played your game," and they'll show us like a button from our first year, and they're like, "I still hold on to it," and like I played it back then, and I keep playing it, and it's so cool seeing how far you've gotten. So that's like really cool because I don't think we have any other cons that we go to that are quite like that. But it's tiring. It's
Could
like
imagine, yeah.
it's just us kind of doing it for 4 days.
Mhm.
And then like the only thing that doesn't make it like the greatest one we attend is because I don't really get to experience PAX. I kind of stay in the booth,
Right.
and
Yeah, I'm sure you're just kind of at the booth, kind of manning it.
we recently went to Super Magfest. That's like DC,
Mhm.
Maryland, I think. But it's like in that DC area, and it's a con that runs like 24/7, which is a little scary at first because you need to like set up your computer and your demo station to run 24/7. So we like had to lock things down and like
Yeah.
make sure if the program crashed, it like would reboot and stuff like that. But like once we got through that, I was like, we went back to our hotel, kind of rested, ate dinner, and then it was like, oh, let's go back down to the con and like just experience it as patrons. And that was like a lot of fun because I haven't been able to do that in a really, really long time. Because then every time we go to cons, I'm usually just at
You're
the booth.
working.
So yeah. So I got to, see vendors, play games, play other people's
Very
games. It was
cool.
actually really, really fun. So I had a lot of fun
Resounding
there.
endorsement for MagFest. Sam, write that down. We gotta go to
We
Mag.
gotta go to MagFest.
Yeah,
We'll report
yeah.
live from the floor next time. Yeah.
MagFest is cool too. It's got a really cool music scene.
Ooh.
There's like
love that.
just like these dedicated spots on the floor where like people will just show up with instruments. They don't even know each other. They'll just start jamming.
Wow. Yeah,
And
I actually know my favorite musician of all time. I don't know if you know, he does a lot of music for independent games also, and like Earthbound type RPGs is Nelward.
okay.
And I know he's played at MagFest. I don't know if he still does.
Oh,
but,
cool. Yeah.
that's how I first actually found out about MagFest, and one of the main reasons I even wanted to go in the first place.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Opportunity to see Nelward.
Yeah.
highly recommend. It was a lot of fun for me. So I got this T-shirt there too. The Super Marxist Twins.
Nice.
Awesome.
It's a game.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
All right, Sam, if you could draft up the media badge begging
Yeah.
email for MagFest now.
Hey, we're an established video games podcast.
Yeah.
Just send them this one and say that I sent you.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Hey,
Yeah.
that works.
Mhm. We've hired or not hired. We've interviewed multiple
Yeah.
development
Yes,
studios.
multiple
at this
indie
point.
developers, and they don't hate us.
They tolerate us.
Yes. I think they laughed at least twice.
Right on.
Okay, so PAX number 2, MagFest number 1. Keep that in mind.
Mhm.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw actually you guys posted that video of what was it? Someone blowing the horn or the con to the last day at PAX. Is that like a yearly ritual?
Yeah, so he'll do that actually at the end of every day.
Oh.
And it's like a sign to clear out patrons.
Oh.
And, yeah.
Okay.
Just like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
We need to you guys are a liability.
Mhm.
But yeah, we kept asking him to do it on the final day so we could record it.
Nice. Okay, I was thinking like, okay, this guy's their friends. He's
Eh,
doing this as a
The conch man, yes.
yeah to show off.
Magic conch.
Yeah. Okay. PAX. Let's see anything else from PAX.
We got a question from your fiance, Nick Bingy.
Oh, yeah.
Asks, would
my
you
beloved
consider?
fiance.
Yeah, going back to the game.
She was
Would
a
you
big
consider
fan
him?
of that, by the way, if that's good QA or anything.
She was what?
But she's a big fan of the bat costume. That was her main takeaway.
Oh.
Was that she loved the bat costume.
I love that. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She wants to know if you would consider making a dinosaur or alien costume for Barry.
Oh yeah. We could
Yeah.
do that.
There you
Perfect.
go. There you have it.
What kind of dinosaur? We need to know.
She's a big fan of Littlefoot.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so
Wait.
give him a big long neck.
neck.
Yeah, it would be like the
Yeah.
hard mode. Give him a giant hitbox for the
Yeah,
long
just,
neck,
kind of flopping around.
flopping around.
Yeah.
Whatever you do not jaw grandma.
Very good.
I watched a ton of Land Before Time when I was a kid, so we could do this.
Didn't we
Perfect.
all?
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a big Land Before Time head.
All the VHS collection. All
What
right.
was the name of the Triceratops one?
Sarah?
Sarah.
There
All
was
right.
Sarah. There was Ducky.
Petrie,
Petrie.
Spike,
Yeah.
Chomper, I think. The little
Okay,
sharp
yeah,
tooth.
yeah.
Yeah, this is now a Don Bluth
Now we're
retrospective.
talking about Land Before Time here on Video Ditch.
Hey, remember Fievel?
More of a Forval guy myself. Okay. Well, yeah. Seeing as how are we feeling right now? Now we've been going for about an hour. Anyone need to take a break, or are we all set to keep going?
All right, let's get into the funny questions.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to read these off, Nick, unless you don't have them pulled up, then I'll start.
I'll get it up. Well, you can do the first one, but I
All
have
right.
one in particular I know is very funny.
All right,
no.
Chris. This is from longtime listener, one of our most loyal viewers and listeners, DDD Pizza Ron. He says, "Have y'all played Among Us, and do you like it?
Mhm.
Yes or no?"
It's a hard question. Okay, I have played it. Do I like
It's
it?
a simple question,
I
Chris.
know it's a
Yes or
simple
no?
question, but I have played it. I like the social aspect of Among Us.
Mhm.
Does that
So
answer it?
So you do like the game. That's a resounding yes.
A resounding yes, Donald. There you go. You got your answer.
Got
got
it.
my-
Maybe he hates the zeitgeist surrounding it. Maybe he hates every single person that plays and enjoys it, but he has played it and he has enjoyed it.
So
There you go.
that stop talking about Among Us video. He's like, you know what? This guy's got his finger on the pulse. This guy's saying what I'm thinking.
I'm Commander Shepard, and Among Us is my favorite video game.
There you go. There you go. And in response to this question, other listener Kim Jong Skill asks, if you accidentally hit Donald with your car, would you admit to fault or toss him in the video ditch and drive away?
That is verbatim what he wrote.
I'd toss him into the ditch and drive away.
There you
Good
go.
Absolutely.
answer.
And he'd let us handle it because that's what
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And
I call you
honestly,
guys. You guys are on
it's-
speed dial right now.
It's the right thing to do, honestly. This guy, this Donald guy, you don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Can't even discuss. Let's see. A user, Len, one of our other producers, Chris, asks, why a bear and not a frog?
Yeah, that's a great question. Pass. I can't answer that.
Oh, there
That's
you
a
go.
secret. That's a
That's a
secret.
secret.
Yeah.
Maybe at the 1.0 release, we'll find out. All right. And producer Hugh, are you a Dragon Ball fan by any chance, Chris?
No.
Okay,
No,
well then you
that's
can
fine.
perfect to answer this question. Why is Brawly so strong?
Probably because he's got a lot of confidence, I would say.
Correct.
Confidence
That
is
it?
power. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's from a beloved new viewer and friend, close personal friend, I've decided, Ants. Asks, could God microwave a burrito so hot he himself could not eat it?
What kind of microwave does he have?
I believe a cosmic or
Yeah,
a
it's
divine
God.
microwave.
Okay, yeah.
So
I'd say yeah.
Probably like
Like,
a
if he's got- if-
Samsung or something.
If he's got a G, absolutely not. No. Samsung, I don't know, maybe. Maytag, I think so, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he like not be a god if he gets burnt by something that he's eating? Like
That's the
like,
question.
that's not within the purview of a god to be burnt by.
It's the unbreakable shield and what is it? All penetrating spear.
Yeah, but I feel
The
like
hot
a
burrito.
god would be able to create something hot enough to burn another god. Come on.
See.
It's true.
That's like the logic puzzle that I would use to like kill an eldritch being. Like, well, I
Yeah.
bet you couldn't make a burrito so hot it would burn you.
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
Blade Runner situation.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Let's see. Were you shutting? Kim also asked, "Were you shutting down this weekend? Were you unfortunate enough to own one, and will you miss it?"
I don't know any of those words.
The Wii U? You didn't adopt
sorry,
the
Wii
U.
U. Wii U.
Oh, so yeah, no, I wasn't doing a Kung Pao reference. Sorry.
The Wii U.
I used to have it. I don't have it anymore, so I guess I didn't get it. I'm not affected by it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's I don't know. The only thing I have it for is they actually put all the Shovel Knight updates on it. I think that was the last thing I used it for.
Oh, nice.
I was
Cool.
foolish enough to get it for that, but
Yeah,
that's the Wii U.
there you go.
And I believe
And I
that's
believe
all the
that is
the funny questions.
our last one. Yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
So thank you viewers for all those valuable questions. A great time answering them as always.
Appreciate it.
All right. Nick, do you want to anything else we want to cover regarding the game? Chris, was there anything you wanted to cover before we potentially move on? Or
The game is fun if you like shooting things, if you like cute graphics, if you like good music, if you like sea shanties in particular. I like the sea shanty levels a lot. You will like it. If you don't like it, don't tell me, and definitely don't tell him. Just keep it to yourself.
But at the same time, your feedback is valuable. Yes.
I was gonna say you could tell us. Let us know.
Okay, you can tell him.
The April 17th is when the new Claws and Paws fashion update drops. So it's actually quite a different game once it drops, kind of how it plays. So
excellent. I mean, these cosmetics, do they have any sort of gameplay effect, or is it purely visual?
Purely visual for now, but we're kind of experimenting with different gameplay mechanics.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
But,
So if you get like the horrendous necktie from Disco Elysium, and suddenly
awesome.
you're drunk as fuck, you can't move around. Yeah.
Tequila Sunrise.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Okay.
give the bats and vampirism powers. I'm never gonna switch on that one.
I got to figure out what the Littlefoot costume upgrade would be.
Maybe brick a crate and some tree stars come out.
Yeah.
Start chewing on them.
You put it on, your grandma dies immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucked.
Yeah. Gosh, probably shouldn't have played on hardcore. She died in real life.
Well, thank you.
Sucks.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes,
Chris.
thank you.
This was a very good time. Where can viewers and listeners find you, or find the game rather?
Yeah, I don't really have any handles online. But if you want to follow the game, the easiest way honestly is just go to our website rbagame.com. And Tilly has something to say. So she's telling you all to go to rbagame.com. It's got all of our social links there too. There's like a whole button that says socials or follow us or something. It's like Instagram, Twitter, X, I think.
X,
is that
formerly Twitter,
Formerly Twitter. It's terrible.
Blue Sky. I know you guys have one of those.
I think we do, yeah.
Yeah, be sure to check out Rightfully Beary Arms. You can wishlist on Steam right now. You could even purchase it in early access. You could jump in their Discord. You could jump in our Discord even.
Yeah.
I've been Sam. You can find me at the Super Sammycom on Twitter. You can find Nick at Somebody Stop Me. That's 2 eyes, Nintendo style.
Nice.
And yeah, we have been Video Ditch Pod. We've also got all our socials. We'll put them in the links below. Again, thank you, Chris, for being here. It's been a pleasure to discuss this with you. We're looking forward to more updates. Perhaps, we'll have another visit with you before the 1.0
by all
release, but
means.
we'll see.
Next update, next series of updates, but absolutely, you have an open invitation anytime you want to broadcast anything.
Bring your partner on. We'd love to.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe he won't be late this time.
It's fine. We'll make time.
No worries. Yeah, exactly. Okay, well then, until next time, thank you for listening. Keep on gaming in the free world.